This is the easiest way to deal with stress. It's going to help you instantly manifest the bodily condition and emotional condition and mental condition that you want.
That's easy.
Hey guys, I'm Jasmine with Manifest Fast with Jasmine, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to manage chronic stress and anxiety. So this is actually part of a 3-part series that I have on how to handle your emotions or manage your emotions, because this is very, very vitally important when it comes to manifestation. And I've been noticing that a lot of people who have trouble, this is what they're having trouble with. And I don't have any videos on my channel about how to manage your stress and your emotions, and yet I'm very, very good at this. So watch till the very end, because I'm going to give you my biggest secret on the most amazing instant thing that I've ever done to help myself manage my chronic stress and anxiety. Just in case you haven't seen it, the first video was on how to handle negative emotions and manifest better, and video number 3 in the series is going to be how to deal with emotional pain and heartbreak. If you support this video and if you want more videos like this, make sure that you give it a like, subscribe, press the bell button, press all. You can sign up for emails down below. You can join my group. And I just came out with a course on consistent instant manifestation. You can pre-order that below to get a promotional discount. When it comes to managing chronic stress and anxiety, there are detrimental long-term effects. And the thing about stress is that we do know that it causes diseases and life-threatening conditions. And I think that the full effect of stress is not stressed enough. We're not treating it well enough, and we're not getting involved enough in the treatment of it. But this is like so imperative and vital. I'm gonna have 5 tips in this video. So 1 through 4, maybe things that you've heard before, but number 5 is gonna be very unique. So stay tuned for that. I know that a lot of people watching me and watching my channel seem to think that I've had a very perfect and privileged life. But that has not been the case. Actually, I had a very tumultuous upbringing, and that's probably the reason why I have been learning about personal development and things of that nature for my entire adult life. Like, that's just been like my number one thing. And well into my adulthood now, I'm kind of realizing just how good that I've become at managing things like stress and managing my own emotions and that type of thing, because I actually have come from a very underprivileged background when it comes to being stressed and having very chronic stressful situations in my life since birth. Long story short, I'm kind of a pro at dealing with stress. Number 1, I did mention in my first video, but it needs to be stressed again. Body is not an option. Body first. You cannot expect your emotional and mental body to perform the way that you would like if your physical body needs are not met. So make sure that you're getting in touch with those needs and meeting those needs. And you know what? It is quite a learning curve, so don't feel bad and don't beat up on yourself about it. But begin to think of it in that way. It's not always up here that needs to be fixed. Sometimes it is your body that requires attention. And I think that sometimes when we're on a path of personal development, we completely forget about that. And we think it's all up to us and that we have to do it all, and that it's just, if I can just train my mind and change my mind and be better at this and whatever, communicate with myself or blah, blah, blah. It is a lot of times having to do with your body. So if you're tired, there's nothing that you can do about except go to sleep. And if you're not eating right, there's nothing that you can do about that but start eating right. And like I said, don't beat up on yourself. Just take the steps necessary. And if you don't know how to tackle your body problems, look for it, research. Look at things, find a way. I'm gonna give you some of those tips in this video. For instance, I used to have eating issues, and a lot of people eat emotionally, and it's a huge epidemic. I know that. And so for me to say, hey, if you're overeating, just eat less. Duh, that's easy. Or if you're not eating enough, just eat. That's easy. Well, I'm just gonna give you a huge shortcut that cured me of my emotional eating. And the best book that I ever read on it was, I think it was by Janine Roth, and it was called When Food is Food and Love is Love. It's an expensive book, but if you need it, this is the best book that I ever read on the subject. By the way, this video is not sponsored because nobody cares about me that much. None of my videos are sponsored. All right, so body basics are not an option. Do what you need to do to find out what you need to do what you need to do for your body, and just do that. And let that be an experience that unfolds for you and not something that needs to be finite, because those needs are always continuously changing. Number 2 is live beyond survival. So if you're very stressed out, the chances are that you're always thinking in terms of survival. What do I need to do to get through this day? I don't know how to handle this moment. It's like you're incapable of being able to handle the stresses of everyday life, and all of the little things just set you off, and you just can't. It's just hard to do life beyond the basics and beyond survival mode. But you have to do things for yourself beyond survival mode to help yourself relax, because survival mode is not relaxed. It's completely tense, and living under those conditions and being used to that and being trained into that for many years is completely debilitating and overwhelming. And people die from the stress that is connected with this type of thinking, and I've watched it happen for myself. When you're living at the level of survival or thinking about that much of the time and being stressed about that, this is a very oppressed, restricted way of living. And if you want to learn about manifestation, and if you want to manifest more for yourself and live a better life, then you have to learn how to expand and feel that expansion. What do I mean, feel the expansion? I mean, relax. I mean, instead of feeling that constricted response within yourself or that constricted thinking within yourself, I mean, relax. Sometimes that doesn't require much besides listening to the wind, listening to the birds, finding ways to relax within yourself. But I'm going to challenge you to take it one step farther, and I'm going to say this needs to be action. This needs to be, hey, you don't need to get your nails done because you're perfect the way that you are. And yeah, you don't have to spend the money on it, and you don't have to take the time to do it. But I'm going to say go and do it, because you have to live beyond the level of survival, at least in your mind. You have to do things for yourself that aren't because you have to do them. You're doing them because you want to do them. And if you want a life that is filled with things that you want to be in your life, then you have to start including those things in your life that you want, and not only the things that you need. Live beyond the level of survival and start thinking in terms of, what do I want to do for fun because it feels good, and for no other reason besides that. Do those things. No excuses. Make it happen. There's always a way to implement this. Number 3 is the opposite of stress is peace. So we all can find moments of peace, and for some people it's very difficult or few and far between, but we all have the ability to experience peace, even if it's for 3 seconds or 2 seconds or 1 moment. You can catch yourself experiencing peace. You can set yourself up to experience peace. You can practice peace. And if all you ever get is a few seconds, focus on that, think about that, and the way that you build your ability to experience peace on a more ongoing basis is by going back to those few seconds and practicing them more. So capturing the wind blowing through the trees, and when you hear the birds singing and you're feeling peace in that moment, just recognizing that and noticing that for yourself and experiencing that moment on a more conscious, aware level, and then making an effort to return to that at other times without beating up on yourself, but doing it just because peace is so very nice. Number 4 is change your perspective or change your story. Like, for instance, when I had my daughter, I thought that I was totally capable of handling it. But when she came, I found that I was really not able to handle the amount of stress that comes with unpredictable situations and unpredictable messes and things like that happening. And that is exactly what a lot of people have trouble with, is the unpredictable stresses that come about. And it's that extra little stress that throws you over the edge that you just can't deal with. So in that moment, you do have the ability to kind of change your story on it. You don't have to, but there's a lot of opportunities when you can. And if you can, you probably should, for your own well-being, to lower that level of stress. So what I mean is, for instance, if I'm in a situation where my daughter is not wearing her rain boots and for some reason I'm just unable to stop her and she runs into a puddle and jumps in it, you know what? instead of having a total cow and ridiculously reacting to it, I'm just going to decide that, you know what, I'm not going to worry about this right now. If she's dirty, if she's wet, whatever, like, we'll deal with it, we'll do what we need to do, but this does not deserve my stress and my attention in that way right now. For instance, I did this with driving. So I never, ever get upset when I'm driving. I just decided many years ago that, you know what, driving is not something that deserves stress from me. Like, I am not going to, there is nothing that you can do to get me to stress in a driving situation. So actually now driving is a very wonderful, peaceful, meditative experience for me. I don't care if there's traffic. I don't care if there isn't traffic. I don't care if somebody is hating me, flipping me off, cursing at me, honking at me. I don't care what is going on. You cannot upset me when I'm in the car, because I've just decided that this is not something that I need to be upset about ever, because no matter what happens when I'm in the car, it's gonna be fine. You know, like, if I'm there 2 seconds later or 2 minutes later, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm actually putting a bonus in here before I get to the awesome number 5 tip. The bonus is, don't beat up yourself about anything. Don't feel bad about feeling bad. This keeps you in that horrible cycle. And it's something that you can always do. You can always decide to beat yourself up about anything and decide that you're going to be upset about being upset or be upset about where you are. Just decide that you're not going to worry and stress about that anymore, because that does nothing but hold you back. And it's the opposite of self-love, and it's the opposite of peace and being okay with where you are and loving yourself. And it actually helps decrease your stress, and it helps you do a lot better at whatever it is that you actually want to do. Number 5 is a huge one that I think so many people are experiencing this, but they're just not aware of it. If you have experienced chronic stress in your life or an environment that was chronically stressful growing up, you very well could have a cortisol imbalance, because chronic stress can cause you to have a cortisol imbalance, and it's so much more common than you think. So when I learned about cortisol imbalance, I realized that I have had all of the symptoms of cortisol imbalance my entire life. Some of the symptoms of cortisol imbalance are being really groggy in the morning, being very active at night, crashing in the middle of the day, feeling like you need food in order to reboot yourself and to make you feel energized. So that means you have sugar cravings, inability to concentrate, mental fog, irritability, unable to cope with stress or unable to cope with even daily stresses, exploding and being unable to control your emotions, high reactivity to external circumstances, weight gain in the abdomen, acne. It can even lead to feelings of depression, feelings leading up to depression, like just feeling unable to accomplish things in your life, feeling like you're tired even though you've slept. So if chronic stress and anxiety is an ongoing issue for you, then you very well may have a cortisol imbalance. And I gotta tell you, now that I've been treating my cortisol imbalance, when I'm not treating it correctly, it's like night and day. And everything that I want to do in my life that I could never do before, when I'm treating this correctly, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how, so stay tuned, but when I'm treating it correctly, I'm able to do all those things that I never knew why I couldn't previously do. For me, finding out about this cortisol imbalance actually made my life so much easier and made my manifestations so much more instant, because instead of trying to make myself do something that my body just can't do, I can just go in my kitchen and say, well, what's my level of stress and how do I want to feel today? And just treat myself and treat my body, and it's taken care of, and this is already done. Changing your mind about things and feeling the way that you want to feel about things is not that difficult. And if it is feeling impossible to you, then there's probably something going on with your body. So here is what I do. My favorite brand ever, they are so amazing and so awesome, I love all of their products, is Moon Juice. Again, nobody cares about me, so my videos are not sponsored. None of this is sponsored, but I have So many of their products, they really truly are good, and I'm going to share the most important ones with you and why I like them. Adaptogens. And adaptogens, they don't necessarily treat any particular one thing in your body. What it does is it helps your body balance and reach an equilibrium. So whatever it is that your body needs, it's going to help your body do what it needs to do. And it affects the endocrine system, the hormones, your stress hormones, all of that stuff. Ever since I started doing this, my life has changed completely drastically, and it's even clearing up my breakouts. I mean, every problem that I feel like I had in my life has been practically cured or affected by this condition and by this treatment. So the first thing that I really like, and I take these every single day, I've already been doing this for months and it just works like a dream. This is Moon Juice's most highly sought after product. It's called Super You. Daily stress management with 4 potent adaptogens to help reduce physical and mental and emotional fatigue, boost energy and mood, protect from oxidative stress, and control stress-related weight gain. So I highly recommend trying these. The other thing that is completely 100% essential that I use with this, ashwagandha. And all of these adaptogens really need to be processed in a particular way and in a very high quality way. So this ashwagandha is very high quality. Here is the thing about medicating yourself with adaptogens, is that it is very trial and error. The thing about treating your stress levels and your cortisol levels with adaptogens is that your stress is continuously, constantly, always fluctuating. So what I learned with this, like at first my mistake was that I thought that I was going to come up with the perfect dosage that was going to work for me every day. And I quickly learned that that was not going to be the case, and that I actually had to gauge how I felt in each day and the stress that I was experiencing each day and treat myself accordingly. This is the easiest way to deal with stress. If you actually have this going on, treating yourself is going to be the greatest gift, and it's going to help you instantly manifest the bodily condition and emotional condition and mental condition that you want. So if you think that you may be suffering from this and you want to help yourself out, I highly recommend researching this for yourself. Supplementation is not the only thing that you can do to control or assist yourself in controlling an imbalance within your body. Nutrition is important. There's a lot of things that are important, but this is a really good start. And this changed my life so much, and I highly recommend it. If you found this video helpful, make sure that you click the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all to receive all notifications. Feel free to sign up for emails below or join the membership group. All those links are below. And if you want to take my new course or pre-order it and get the discount, that link is below as well. Here's the next video in the series. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was easy.